if you are a personal trainer and you're trying to motivate maybe an overweight fella, stop calling him big man.
Did that happen?
You got this, big man.
The only people who call me big man are homeless dudes on the street.
Really?
Big man, give me $1. I'm like, not now.
Yeah.
Ray, I'm so excited to be here. I wanted to ask you guys something. So before you came over, Jason
Salmon.
Jason Salmon, our first guest on the podcast.
First
All right.
podcast.
Yes,
guest.
Excited.
Yeah. We
Thanks for
didn't have guests for a year, and you're the first guest.
Boom.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Fucking prank alert.
Listen. So before you got here,
Yeah.
this is like a bad. It's also I told Ray this as like a bad moment for myself. I wanted to clean up. Like I sprayed a little bit of air freshener. I vacuumed because the floor was bad. I tied it up as much as I could. Anyway, because my apartment's like a mess. But
What?
I went to go to the my vacuum, and in my head I was like, oh, I vacuumed. Last time I vacuumed, I noticed the chamber was like filled. Like I had one of those things you just clean out the actual vent or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to clean that out before I vacuum. It's like one of those things, yeah. And I went to the vacuum, and it was completely clean. It was completely cleaned out. And I was like, my first thought was, did somebody do this? Like, my first thought was, did Ray do this one time before the podcast to clean up? And I'm like, that's not true. Then my second thought was, did my landlord come up and vacuum and then clean out?
Did somebody break in and they got so distracted by the mess in here? They were like, I'm not even going to rob this guy. I'm just going to tidy up.
That's when you know you're not doing well cleanliness-wise.
Yes.
When a thief goes, you know what? Screw it.
Fuck the diamonds.
Yeah. You know what? I can't operate in this environment. I need to polish some stuff.
The conclusion I came to is that I was drunk one night, and I got home, and I cleaned it out while I was blacked out drunk.
Probably the plausible end.
I can't wait to see you drinking at the Irish Rover and you're just pounding shots. I'm like, why are you drinking so hard? You're like, I gotta clean my fucking apartment.
Yeah.
I can only do it in a
only way I
blackout.
get motivated.
I'll do my taxes later. Figure that out.
I've gotten, and I don't like admitting this all the time because I don't drink and drive anymore. I promise you that. But back in the day when I used to do it a lot, when I was just a young buck in his 20s, I got blacked out one time, and I go out to my car the next morning, and I see in my passenger seat, not only was it my side view mirror was sitting in the passenger seat. That's a problem. I knocked the mirror off. That was a bad thing. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But there was also a freshly purchased bottle of windshield wiper fluid that I have been neglecting to buy for months. Apparently, in a blackout, I stopped at a gas station, made sure to check on my side mirror, put it inside, and then go, gotta get these wipers.
Yeah.
Gotta get these wipers
Running
lubed
errands.
up.
Yeah, just killing
The
people and running
blackout
errands.
to-do list. I like it. You guys are really functional blackouts.
Yeah, very motivated blackout drunks.
Solid.
But have you ever done that? You ever done anything drunk that you realized later on?
No.
You're not a huge drinker.
I'm not a huge drinker, so I haven't been drunk a ton. Like as far as I've never been blackout drunk.
Really?
Never blackout drunk. I need to go to sleep drunk. But I honestly didn't get drunk until just a few years ago. Was the first time I even.
Oh, really?
Like
you're
I
really?
would get buzzed, but I would always like hit a point where I'm like, this is it.
Oh, I'd kill for that thing that you have in your brain that has
Tells you
you
to
like,
stop.
hey, this is going to be a problem if I have any more.
Well, I mean, I overrode it, and it was a problem. I was right. I was right. I mean,
after some experimenting, I found out that
it was.
Well, here's the thing. The definition of a blackout is that you don't remember the whole night before, right? I actually never had that, but I've had where I've forgotten like big chunks of nights. Just not. I always remember the night, gotten back okay, but sometimes you don't remember how you get back. That happens.
I have had full blown just
The whole night.
There's just a dude walking around in my body.
Yeah.
Really?
Like experiences. Yeah, where like I don't know what. Like I've been woken up by the police sleeping in the back seat of my car.
A night walker.
Yeah.
Really?
And I was like, I don't know how I got here. And then
Yeah.
everybody else starts piecing together the documentary for you.
Yeah, right. It is an investigative journalist.
It's at about 12:30, he was peeing off of my porch, and that's when we kicked him out. And then it just keeps going through everybody.
It's also it's like the worst feeling because you have this. Nobody, as long as you didn't, I don't know, do something that messed up, you're fine. As long as you got home safe and you didn't hurt anybody and do anything. But you still have that thing when you missing parts of the night. You're like, oh my God, what the hell? What did I do? What did I say? What did I text?
What items did I check off my to-do list?
Yeah.
That's part of the equation.
Yeah, but
what do I no longer have to do?
How much did I up my property value?
Yeah. How much better is my life today?
You go to bed one night, you wake up with vinyl siding. You go, but that's good that, especially at that point, I thought I started late, and I started like when I was like 19 or 18 drinking.
Well, you're actually a pretty handy guy, right? Aren't you?
I am functional guy.
Functional.
I can figure stuff out, but I am not naturally handy. But I worked with a lot of people who are handy, so I'm like, I can sort of piece my way through stuff.
So I was going to say, if you got drunk and blacked out, you could probably really do some damage on some home improvement type stuff.
Absolutely. That would be Tim the Toolman.
Yeah. That's my thing, is that I would need hardcore concentration, so I would literally do damage. I would probably wake up and just why is there a large nail hammered through our front door? That is a bad move.
Is there just a 2x4 with a nail?
That's a railroad spike. How did I get a railroad spike?
Why did I write Jason in railroad spikes slammed into the wall?
Oh.
But the
I was gonna say, I see the tough thing with the blackout is when you're talking about like that blackout remorse where you're worried what you said to somebody, what you did. I have that sober because I have such I always feel like
you're saying there was my tone wrong and what I texted.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, Jason.
The whole podcast is about people pleasing.
Yes.
It's about recovering people pleasers.
Do you find yourself walking away from a lot of conversations like, did I piss that guy off? Or are you pretty confident?
I tend to overthink it beforehand. If there's something I have to talk to somebody about or something I have to take care of, I way overthink it. I do think that sometimes my tone is way more authoritative than I really am. And sometimes it sounds like I'll be going, oh, why don't we do this? And it comes across like, you should do this. Like very much like I'm giving you an assignment.
When you say it out loud or when you text it?
When I text it, I feel like anything written, I tend to be really good with like managing the tone.
Yeah.
Because I'm crazy empathetic. I'm like, how could this be mistaken?
Well, you're so right, because we've been
smart.
friends for a while, and up until recently, I thought Jason was like a type A personality. I remember I thought I was like, I'm like, you're like type A, and you're like, not really. Because you were like, I'm like, you're really neat, this, and you're like, I'm neat because my wife is like, she's really organized.
She's
like, if
hyper
I'm not
clean.
this, if I'm not this level of neat, it'll be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually a good compromise, because it's better to be, I'm all for being organized, I'm just not. I'm a fucking mess. Yeah. So, but I remember thinking, and it's also part of what you just said, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
You say stuff, and I'm like, Jason knows exactly what he's talking about.
Well, that's the thing. I realized this in an early open mic. Somebody just yelled out, what is it, this or this? And I just yelled out the answer, and I'm like, I don't even know. And my brain goes, you know this?
Yeah.
And I just volunteered it. That's that level, which is crazy. I wish I had that level of confidence with so many other things.
Well, you look and sound like a man. Like what I would think a man is, it's Jason. Like that's why I asked him if he was handy. I just assumed.
Right? No, I get that.
Yeah.
You seem like a guy that would be like, oh, you want? Yeah, I could build you a table. Like,
yeah.
God, I need a table.
You would ask him something in Home Depot.
Yeah.
When I was answering your question, I realized I might have been brought along to help with certain jobs so that people looked more adept at what they were doing, but just because they're like, nobody drives by a car that's being worked on with me there and goes, they don't need help. Nobody thinks, oh, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're like, no, they're okay.
Not,
You know,
They should that should be a service that you have.
Right,
Is
yeah.
you like a contractor
credibility.
hires you? Yeah.
But also-
Contractor credibility.
But here's the thing, though. It's not just look; it's demeanor, because I look like that too. But the minute I open my mouth, I'm like, "What do we do?"
It is. I bring
The carburetor.
I throttle down the Sean brings a ton of whimsy. Yeah. Which has whimsy has no place in the fix-it world
No,
at
it
all.
doesn't.
Yeah,
I told you this really quickly.
Yeah.
My dad was he was a really funny guy, but he was probably more serious than he didn't work in comedy. He was a jail guard at Rikers, but he wasn't handy either. But he always wanted to be.
Yeah.
And his friend Bob Lolly was really handy, who also Jason reminds me of in a way. Like it's like that kind of thing. And I was really handy. And one summer he was like, "You're just gonna go live at Bob Lolly's house." I told you this, didn't I?
And become a man.
And like learn everything about cars. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I was like 16. I'm like, I'm not doing that. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, you like go there on a daily basis for a few hours and every day and learn about cars. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And then it just fizzled out because he was like, I was like, 16 or whatever it was. And then, but the one thing we did do, like you were saying, you helped out on projects. We did paving stones in the house I grew up in, the backyard. And it was like the only handy thing I did. And Bob Lolly was there doing them. Then we were like helping him with it. But I was like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, he was like, you're going to go every step of this so you learn at least a little bit of what it is.
Like a warrior. Like you're gonna learn the way of the sword.
Exactly. I wish I was handy. Like I would.
Me too.
I so wish I was like really handy. Could just like build all of every fixture in this apartment.
Wouldn't that be weird if you found out like today you're like Bob Lolly was actually slowly teaching kids karate? That was what he was doing. Like Miyagi style. He had a very blue collar Miyagi style of
he was
teaching.
training his own Foot Clan.
Right. You had like
the Ninja Turtles.
They're like, oh, you only got past the paving stone belt? Oh no.
The wax on, wax off.
You're right.
All these projects had a lesson. Like, oh yeah, that's the hammer lesson. That's what that is. That's
that's why all of Bob Lolly's children.
You get to measure paving stone. That's this move right here.
Yeah. The square attack.
The T-square attack. No, that's fucking hilarious.
Great.
That would be great. No, now he's just a guy who is a Trump fan who has a house in Florida and a house in Long Island. So yeah, but he's a good guy. My dad's best friend. My dad, they were such opposites. I don't know. We're not gonna have a whole Bob Lolly podcast, but they were.
No,
my dad was like he was a very unfunny, fairly serious, like responsible dude. And my dad was just like a silly, affable jokester.
Prison guard.
Prison guard.
Yeah.
Prison
A silly,
guard.
affable prison guard.
But it had the switch where my dad could be so intimidating.
Yeah.
Like so intimidating. Like in public, I would see him and I'd be like, oh, it's terrifying. Like I would see him interact with people in like little squabbles in public, like in a movie theater once in an OTB of all places, which is off-track betting.
Yeah.
And I told the story already, didn't I?
Maybe.
OTB one time I came to pick him up because I was using his car, and a lot of like wannabe mafia guys would hang out at this OTB. And I showed up, and we walked back over to where his paper was, and there was a guy in his spot. And my dad goes, "You're in my spot. That's my spot. I got my paper." And he goes, and the like Italian guy goes, "What are you gonna do about it?" And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "What the fuck are you talking?" And he was like, "Give him my fucking spot. I want my spot." And the guy's friend's like, "Kick his ass, Sonny." And my dad looks at him and goes, "Sonny? Your name is Sonny?" And he gets right up in his face, and I'm like, "Let's go, Dad." Ran to him, we got to the car.
Isn't that weird?
But he was not even a little bit afraid of it
Right.
whatsoever.
Isn't that weird the first time you see somebody and you're like, oh, this is also
adult
who they
stuff.
are?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, like the anger when you see somebody mad.
Anger,
Yeah.
or I used to be a personal trainer, and I would train these people who were rich people. I mean, trained in New York City, so
Yeah.
it was like you were training people with tons of money, and like every once in a while, I would be invited to an event. And this is a person who I've like criticized him, like, you're not doing push-ups well enough. And then I go to this event and they're a god where they are. And I'm like, oh, you're important. You are. And my whole time, I'm like, you look terrible in gym shorts. You know?
You know what you are?
Huh.
You're their non-sexual dominatrix.
I sort of am.
Wow.
You're their moment to be the vulnerable one.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I'm not saying there's a sexual connotation with that, but
absolutely.
That's why some of those like CEOs go to those because
They
want to be zero responsibility.
Yeah. And I think the thing is you go to the ones that are like militaristic for the dominatrix thing. You would go to me for you're like, okay, this is somebody who like I can respect as a boss. Like because I have that like confidence with vocally, that immediately it's like, oh, this person could talk in front of a group of people. I can respect this person like on a hierarchy of language.
Well, it's probably just a healthier version of what the
yeah. That's what they say. Yeah, but that is. I didn't think
about.
That's a pretty
cool way to look at it.
Yeah,
because like
no, I think back on some trainers I saw when you said that, and I'm like, oh, that was like this close. That was just like this much more leather.
Yeah.
Like that was all that was separating.
Somebody's like, on second thought, I was sexually harassed a lot at that job.
There were a few trainers I watch work with people who I'm like, why are they letting them talk to them like that? Like this.
I was never able to like respond to that. Like I've been with a trainer like twice, and it was like the free ones where they force you to do it, and they're like, "Come on, you're at the gym, man. Come on, we offer this for free. We offer this for free." And he's like
guilting you into it.
And then he's "Come on, you got to do this. You got this." And I'm just like, "Nah, I don't, man." And then he's like, "Come on, you got this." And I've literally been like, "Hey, you got to stop yelling at me."
Yeah.
And then they tell you the free thing, and they take you back into this room, and they tell you just how fucking expensive it is.
Insane.
And the one guy tried hitting me with this, like he was like, "No, it's just like your phone bill. It's like an extra phone bill. That's all it is." I was like, "Yeah, dude. I'm behind on my phone bill." These guys are ruthless.
I can't afford my phone, you jackass.
I don't have the actual phone bill motivation for this.
I went to a training once, and it was like right after pandemic. It was when I was living in Long Island City, and they were like, "Here's a package," and the package was like it was like an insane amount of money. But I was like, "All right, I want to get back on this." I'm like, they convinced me, and I'm like, I've never gone to one before. I should. It's at the gym. The gym was only $10 a month, so I'll spend this money on the package. Yeah. And I did it, and it was like 19-year-olds that were going to school for like to become gym teachers. Yeah. And they had no idea what to do. To the point where at one point the guy goes, "All right, man, I'm gonna put you on the bike because you told me I do have knee issue." And he's like, you're gonna go on the bike because of the knee problem. And then I'm like, all right. So we did that for like 3 sessions straight, and I was like, all right, cool. That was like part of the cardio. And then one day he comes in and he goes, "All right, we're not doing the bike anymore. I watched this thing on YouTube last night. It says bike's not good for the knees." And I'm like, "Are you fucking dude? At least lie to me and say I'm gonna switch it up or something."
Never mention YouTube.
Yes,
never.
The trainer said that. And I was like, "Dude, I'm done." And the last show, I was like, "I want my money back." They're like, "No," and I'm like, "Fuck this." And I'm like, "Whatever." It sucked. And then they switched up the guy on the last session. The guy found out I do show business, and he asked me to get him a part of the show.
Okay.
Really?
He goes, "I'm actually an actor." I go, "Yeah, I do some acting, but I also do stand up." He's like, "Can you get me an audition for that?" And I'm like, "No, I can't get myself a fucking audition."
I would love a doctor using that when he comes in. He's like, "Ah, shit, dude. You know, last time I told you to take that medication, I just saw Googling some stuff that I actually messed that up, dude."
Weirdly enough, having worked in training for long enough, there are doctors who operate like that, who are like, "Oh yeah, this thing we've been doing, we're gonna need to stop it." They never tell you. They're smart enough not to go, "I saw it on YouTube," but you're like, "Did you watch YouTube?"
Yeah. Or did you
like I've had some doctors tell people stuff, and I'm like, "That's not right at all." Like, but I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with your doctor who's not here.
Also, because your first thought is like,
but I'm like, let me check with some of my friends who are in medicine just to see if they've got any other opinions. Meanwhile, I'm like, the doctor you're going to is a quack.
Yeah, there's bad doctors.
Yeah, but training has a huge spectrum, because training goes from borderline physician, like brilliant physician, to just lifts weights sometimes and wants to boss people around about it. Or dominatrix. One of those two things. Just likes bossing people around.
Have you ever seen? Let me ask you this, because you go to the gyms with you still do it?
Go to the gym?
No. I mean, do the training sessions?
I did during the pandemic, but I haven't done it since.
Did you ever see somebody go like one of these, like maybe even one of these like weekend warrior guys, like these the gym rat guys, go overboard and like train people wrong because they didn't know what they all the time?
I used to when I was training at Reebok was where I trained. This really nice gym. And a lot of the people I would get would be people who were hurt from other trainers.
Really?
Because I just was like, I knew how to do everything. Like, I'm so meticulous with like how you do things and how you like structurally do things.
Were you mean?
No, but I was firm. I was unforgiving.
Would you berate people? Like,
no,
like, come on,
never berate people. No, but I would definitely go, no, you can do this. And in a way where they go, can I do this?
Yeah.
Where they're like would question their own. Like that's the weird thing about being able to speak with like a firm confidence is like people go, am I wrong?
Yeah.
If there are any personal trainers that are listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube,
40% of our audience.
We still got the PT demo.
All they do is show them the photo.
Yeah.
Show the photo to
You were brought here from a what else might be affecting this man's hip video.
But I would say if you are, and I've experienced this, if you are a personal trainer and you're trying to motivate maybe an overweight fella, stop calling him big man.
Did that happen?
You got this, big man.
The only people who call me big man are homeless dudes on the street.
Really? Really?
Big man, give me $1. I'm like, not now.
Yeah. Not now that you made me think about stuff. I mean,
we're gonna try this again tomorrow. Call me handsome.
Yeah. I mean, so many words.
I used to always get the when I would play basketball, and if it was like mostly like black dudes I was playing with, they would always, when I was younger, always call me big and whatever color shirt I was wearing.
Oh yeah.
They were like, all right, big yellow, come on, big yellow.
That was like Luke Cunningham, who's a comic. He's actually from Philly. He said the same thing. He played basketball. And I think they would do the same thing. They call him Big Red because he wore a red shirt once. And I think they started calling him Kool-Aid because
they just kept going. They just kept funneling through drinks.
They would just.
They tried Squirt one day, and they're like, "No, that doesn't work. It actually contradicts the point we're making."
Let me ask. Speaking of health stuff, this actually works out perfectly. You told me today you want to become a vegetarian. So this is the problem. Like, you go very okay. So here's the thing. Not that I know. I don't know.
You know.
But I was like, I started doing that intermittent fasting thing. I'm like, oh, it works for me because it's like, it's just not being a fucking fat fuck that's eating tons of sugar and as much as I was. But it's not a full on like. But you're like, I'm going back into keto. I'm like, all right. But I think that's so hard to do. And then just today you go, I want to become a vegetarian. Which instead I was like, I want to do like 2 veggie days and then go from there.
I've the only time I've ever lost like significant weight was doing keto.
Yeah.
And I did realize what everybody says. They're like, oh, that's just the weight comes right back on once you get back into carbs. Which is fine. I just want to be really hot for one summer. That's all I want, and then I'll just go back to being a fat
hot boy
slob.
Summer.
Yeah.
Well, hot white boy summer.
Hot white boy summer.
Yeah, in order to get really cut, you have to do horrible things to your body.
Like take Ozempic.
Unless you're gonna do it over a long period of time, like by summer. What do you think you would have to lose?
Well, and what I'm saying about, I'm not saying cut. I mean, I think for me to be hot, really, really hot, I got to lose like 15 pounds.
Okay, 15 pounds.
And just all I want to do is fit comfortably into an extra large shirt.
Okay.
And keto is the only thing that ever helped me lose weight pretty quickly. So I started doing it again, and my roommate is on the carnivore diet as well. Yeah. So it's kind of they're kind of similar. So we cleaned the apartment yesterday, and we're like, hey, let's do a good lunch. So we ordered this thing that he knew of called the meat box.
Yeah.
Which
the meat box.
I know it sounds like a bad idea.
That sounds like a bad idea or a good horror movie.
Like something in Jason's dominatrix studio.
You don't make me put you in the meat box. I will do it.
You want to get ready for beach season?
It's like a box you put in their head and they have to eat the way.
That's torturous. I've already got the first 2 pages of the script written.
It's an extra scene from 7.
It's the sequel to 7.
All right, David Fincher walks. All right, guys, we're cutting the meat box scene. I'm sorry.
Apparently, there's only 7 deadly sins.
I'm sorry. Yeah, turns out the 8th deadly sin, not a deadly sin.
It's just meat.
Just an item off of the Cheesecake Factory menu. It looked like a sin. I agree with you.
What's in the box? Meat. Meat is in the box, dude.
I actually love the first version of that script, mac and cheese ball box. It's fantastic. But wait, so what is meat box?
So it's just like it was like a bunch of different kinds of meat, obviously. So it's like loose gyro meat. It's like loose shawarma meat. It's
loose you're losing me on loose. It's meat and loose should not be.
Well, it came with pita, but we got rid of the pita. So you were supposed to make like your own little things probably with it all. And they had a bunch of sauces, but we can't fuck with that, you know, because it's too much sugar in the sauces. But it's just this big thing of meat and like skewers of meat, sausage, and...
Is this a subscription service or is this from a restaurant?
It's from SVL.
I know what that is.
Is that a shipping company?
No,
what is that?
It's the Greek UPS.
No, it's
souvlaki.
No, it's a 4-door sedan from Honda, the Honda SVL.
It's some guy's house on Steinway Street.
They're like, here's where the meat's being kept hot.
It's over the engine.
But I'm eating this meat, and I've already been like having like a lot of meat over the last 3 weeks, and I'm like sitting there and I'm eating it, and I'm like halfway through my plate. And my chest just like hurts.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, this is not. And like it was like all I ate yesterday.
Yeah.
Like took me down for the whole day. And now the thought of meat kind of fucking grossing me out.
You got meat blackout.
I did.
Yeah.
Like
regret. Yeah.
You can't have hair of the dog with more meat.
No, you can't just shove more meat down.
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
bad.
No, that's probably it's too much food, probably.
First of all, stay away from non-descriptive meat items. The less description there is in your meat items, stay away from it. That's a good hint. If somebody just goes meat box, bad move. Bad move.
Well, it's also funny that
if they say meatball, you still want an adjective in there. You want something. Give me another description.
Give me beef in there.
Meatball. Give me a Parmesan meatball. Give me something.
Yeah.
You know, you need some description in front of your meat.
But like, I still don't feel wonderful.
Well, meat is a lot for your body to process.
Well, that's like when we do the barbecue thing. We do the barbecue smoking thing. Like, it's good because we get a couple things, then we share it. But whenever we go to barbecue places, I've gone to barbecue with you. That's all I eat for the day. Like, I just eat the barbecue.
Yeah,
and I try to get like chicken and you get like a quarter pound of brisket or whatever it is. Like I get like meat drunk all the time. Where I'm
meat
like,
drunk.
I
that's a
can't.
good thing to say.
Yeah.
I'm meat hungover.
You almost got meat blackout.
I went off.
That's like bread for me. That's why I stopped as much bread, because I would get like bread drunk where like it fucked up my whole system for 3 days straight. Yeah.
My roommate's fine.
Really?
He's fine.
No, well, I think
everybody's
system handles it differently. Like, I have to have some meat in my diet, but my girlfriend's vegetarian. She's been vegetarian for ages, and she's extremely healthy. So I have a ton of vegetables. I have a ton of pasta, but I also, I'm always eating fresh, healthy food all the time.
But you're very active as well.
I'm also very active.
So you're working out
because
how many times a week?
I look so much like a blue collar worker that my own body is like, if you don't go and move items around a room, we're gonna kill you.
I think if you watched the podcast today on mute, you would think that it was like the local 496 podcast. And I'm the apprentice.
Yeah, we're either discussing union dues or how to build a loft.
But I think that you can have too much of anything. But like, yeah, my goal really is like, I would love to have 2 days with no meat, but my mindset with food is so bad. I'd be like, oh, so yeah. Like if I was eating I'd be like, oh, pasta, or I'd be like, it should be vegetables, but my thing would be like, oh, I'll grilled cheese.
That's what that's
a heavy carb.
That's a heavy carb.
I'd be freebasing mozzarella sticks.
Yeah,
exactly. If I was a vegetarian.
Yeah. That's the thing. Because I have the same GERD thing as you. And
another survivor.
Another survivor.
Fellow girder. And I should be staying away from fried.
Yes, definitely stay away from the GERD box.
The GERD box.
That will definitely mess with your system.
The GERD box is probably delicious.
I mean, it feels good going down, but the rest of your week is off.
It comes with a container of Tums taped to it.
like a bomb under a car. I mean, it's like
it's actually a conspiracy from Prilosite, the company. They just send them out.
It
the
really
meat
is.
It's all synergy.
It's all fried foods, and then they're like, "How about some They put like pamphlets at the bottom.
It's
of
wrapped
the
in
fry.
duct tape. It is shady, shady.
No, but I absolutely, I'm better than I was, but I'm still not a healthy person. So it's like a matter of like incrementally getting to whatever best version.
Food is a thing. I will tell you right now. Food is the thing that will make you, that will affect your health most. It will also make you lose weight quickest.
Have you had any like success stories with the people you've trained? Like people that have lost a ton of weight?
Yeah, I've had people lose a ton of. I had somebody lose so much weight they had to like get like a surgery for their skin because it was so droopy.
That's always a great.
But
thing.
it was over a stretch of time, so it wasn't like so fast. But they had so much weight that they were just like, aesthetically, this doesn't look good, but it should.
Yeah,
that happens a lot.
And they're still like,
how big were they originally? Sorry to.
I'm trying to remember. It was a woman, so it was one of those things where you didn't talk about weight and things like that specifically as much as you were like, this is what our goal is. This is what our goal is.
Yeah.
Right.
But
it's probably the best way to do it.
But the great thing about it is that I'm friends with her on Facebook. She like lives in Wisconsin now, and she's still in really good shape. Yeah, she's doing well. So that's
do you notice a change in personality? You know what I mean? Because I sometimes think that is like part of like sometimes why I feel like I felt like uncomfortable or like meek in certain situations, or like that idea we've talked about, like being in a bar and I feel like I'm bumping into people, or like I feel too like fat for the fucking bar.
You feel like
you know
you're taking up too much
space,
space.
and I get like very insecure. Like it's like I feel like if every time I've been like thinner or like lighter, I've been like more easy breezy.
But also you have. I always thought you talked about that feeling because of how you're tall as well.
Oh, I'm tall in. I'm tall in.
People zero in on tall people, I feel like.
But I'm just like but I'm both. I'm like a big fucking oaf.
Yeah.
So it's like.
But you're compounding it. Like nobody's thinking about it as much as you are. Like that.
Well, that's what I'm.
Such a clip. The new adage where like nobody's thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself, which is like one of the. Saint Germain was the one who told me that. We talked about it on the show. It's one of the best things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
It like made me feel so much better. Yeah. So it goes for every moment. So like, I feel like in the bar you're thinking that, but you're like in your brain you're going, oh my god, they're thinking this thing. Nobody's.
Here's what I think as far as food and like taking care of yourself, like you just gotta change the way you think about it. Every meal cannot be a celebration. That's what I had to do with that. Is that most
how many candles I have?
Most meals are refueling.
Did you say? I said, you know how many candles I have in my drawer? I have a sandwich with a candle right in the middle.
Ah, fuck! I got wax all over my cheesesteak hoagie.
Every meal's a celebration.
Yeah,
it's my birthday every day.
He sings a song.
Or
he sings a song before every lunch.
You know how I eat? Like every day, I'm on death row and I'm dying that day.
What do I want for my last meal?
That's every meal.
That's when I gained the most weight, is when I worked at like an office job that I fucking hated.
Right, because you're like, I need this.
Lunch was the only thing that made me happy.
This is the joy of my day.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what. And most people don't treat it like it should be. You're refueling. Most people should treat it like you are stopping by a gas station, and most people treat it like you're stopping by a gas station in Texas.
That would have been great. We talked about it before we started.
Did we really? That's funny.
That's so funny.
But it is. Gas stations in Texas they make their own barbecue and donuts and everything. They're insane places to just stuff your face full of food.
Like refuel with this.
And most people should stop by Jimmy's fill up and just put the stuff in the car and go. Yeah. And to be honest, the older you get, the more irritated, the harder it's going to feel harder. It's going to make you a little irritable. You just got to understand that's part of the thing.
The gas station analogy is so good because the high octane would be like the healthier
foods. The healthier food,
like
the organics.
Treat your car
not everybody,
like a luxury automobile.
Not everybody's putting 93 fuel in there. A lot of us are just sitting on the 89.
Unleaded, baby.
Yeah,
That's me.
I'm not even sure if I'm saying all the numbers right.
I don't know them either.
No, I think you're right.
I feel like 93 is a big one.
I've pumped a gallon or two in my day. Pumped a little gas in my day.
Not in New Jersey. They get real upset when you
That
do
is
that.
the crazy. You know what I don't like about that? I don't know. I'm getting off a tangent here about that, but they don't say it anywhere in the gas. Like
nowhere.
There's no sign.
It
but
always surprises me.
And
Wait, what do you mean? The gas?
You can't pump your own gas in New Jersey.
It's all.
No, they don't say it. It's just understood. And sometimes you don't know. You ever do like a road gig?
Yeah.
And you don't know you're in New Jersey.
Yes.
And out of nowhere, you're like, where's the?
Like you start to do, and then you're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, some dude pops from.
And they're pissed.
Yeah. And when you don't know you're in New Jersey, the dude that pops around from the pump looks scary. He looks like a character who would stab you.
It's like a lost carny. That's just
Oh God! Your only choices were to do. You're only doing this because the carnival's no longer in town, aren't you? Aren't you? That's your entire.
They always pop out of nowhere like that middle island thing. They're just like blending into the wall, and then I don't know where they're just like,
and no matter what time of year it is, they're always bundled up, wearing like a Carhartt jacket and a tassel cap.
Yeah,
they're always doing something like borderline dangerous, like smoking a little around the gas.
Yes,
it's like, did you just have an ash fall from?
They're
your
just throwing
cigarette?
Chinese stars.
Yeah, just,
do you work here? Or are you David Blaine?
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: that thing is a union thing, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a union thing. Yeah.
That's crazy. But also, why didn't that? Is New Jersey the only state in the union?
There's two, I think. Like Washington State or something.
I don't know where the other one is, but I just know like the one guy yelled at me. I was like, dude, there's not a sign.
Yeah.
He's like, it's New Jersey. I was like, I don't.
Like,
clearly, I don't live here. Sometimes people come from other states.
New Jersey's got a lot of like car-related thing. Like they have those jug handles.
Jug handles that nobody has.
I lived in I moved.
We were just talking about this.
I moved up here. I moved to Massachusetts from Texas first, and then I moved to New Jersey. And in New Jersey, I got so many tickets, and they were all
lefts?
for turns. I got so many traffic tickets from turning.
Yeah.
What do you
because
mean?
Because you got to go through you got to go through the intersection, jug handle around to go left, but you can't tell that all the time. And so most of the time the jug handle is before the intersection, you can see it, but several intersections in New Jersey you have to go through it. Then
were you
come around and
were
go
you getting
straight.
pulled over?
And I was getting pulled over.
Okay.
I mean, one of the times it was really late at night, and I just made a left. I had no idea there was a jug handle. He's like, "You're drunk," and I'm like, "I'm not. I'm just from Texas."
It's also like logically.
And
why
that didn't help at all.
Like
Get out of the car.
It's like no cop.
I know it.
No cop. You're drunk. Why would you think that I'm like, I'm not from here, but I know I have to make a turn 14 yards down the road?
Right.
Like, that's insane.
Right. So a left-hand turn, properly signaled, with no one coming at a decent speed, made you think, "Oh, this guy's falling apart."
It's also the thing where he's like, opportunity to give it.
Yeah.
to
Oh
like,
yeah.
just
No,
like,
New Jersey. I will say this: New Jersey traffic cops not nice at all.
And we
horribly.
know I've been told so many times that quota thing is for that ticket quota thing is for real.
Oh yeah.
You know what's
End
been
of the month quota thing.
What's been pissing me off, and I think that this should be illegal, is I've gotten about 4 camera tickets in the last 3 months.
Really?
And it's from the street coming right into Astoria off the highway, and it turns from like 45 to like 30 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it's like literally just you slowing. I've never felt like I was grooving down that. I'm not a fast driver. I'm not a crazy driver. And they take a picture of you and then send it to you in the mail, and it's $50 a pop. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
If you don't fucking catch me, bro,
They purposely do that shit.
bullshit.
Most traffic stuff is just for money.
Yes.
Money, or to try to trump up charges. To like, I mean, that's basically like what most traffic violations end up being.
And parking stuff. Like, you ever have that thing where people fight their parking tickets? They're like, you tell me where this. Like, sometimes the sign will be chopped in half. There'll be nothing on it. You can't read the sign. And I think if you do fight them sometimes, there's 2 things that happen. If you fight them and you actually have a legitimate, like, how am I supposed to know? And sometimes there'll be like a pole and no fire hydrant. They're like, you parked in front of a fire hydrant. It's like, there's no more fire hydrant. What are you talking about? 2 things. That, you fight it, and I heard if you go and the cop, say you have a traffic ticket, and the cop doesn't show up, it gets cleared.
I tried that twice, and the cop showed up both times. And one time, I actually had a full-out defense, everything, and the cop lied. And I was like, I didn't think that was possible.
What was the situation?
It was.
This is in Texas, though.
Yeah, it was in Texas. It was in Texas. I was young. I was working as a lifeguard, and it had rained that day, and there was lightning in the area. So I went and got some food. So I'm coming back, and I turn right as the light is changing. I turn right, and I purposely turned right because I thought if I put on my brakes, I will skid into the intersection because it's slick out. So I turn right. Cop pulls me over. I'm like, perfect. I know exactly why I did that. I said, this is why I took that chance because I felt like it would have been more dangerous to do that. And she's like, no. She's like, forget it. And I go, but I legitimately was trying to be as safe as possible, and I was trying to be nice. And then we got to the thing, and I was like, I just want to clarify what the weather was that day. And she goes, it was sunny. It was yeah, she totally lied. And I was not prepared for that at all. And this was before you could just check all that stuff on your phone. So So in order to, and I didn't have any money. I was in college, and so in order to appeal that ticket, I would have had to pay like double what it was and all this stuff. And,
oh my God.
And I'm like, I can't pay double.
And that was before people really like made mouthing off to the police kind of more commonplace. You could have been like, you're a liar.
See, cops do not like me when they stop me. I've had one cop one time, and this is why I think I know that if people did traffic stops like you should do traffic stops. This cop was like, hey, do you realize what you did? And I was like, was I going too fast? He's like, yeah. He said, look, you were just going a little too fast. And he's like, I watched you, so I just wanted to let you know because clearly you were trying to pass somebody, get out of like clutter or something. Yeah. And I was like, this dude was legitimately watching traffic thinking, why would somebody go this fast there? Did he speed up? Was he speeding up as the gun was on? It's like, this guy like actually was like,
using logic.
Yeah, he was using like the stream of and not like, oh, I nailed you at this specific speed. There's no other part of this story. And
so he said that and then still taking it.
No. He said that. He said, I'm going to let you go. He said, but you got to be careful. And I was young too. And he's like, you got to be careful. Because if you're flying past somebody, you can't go that much past the speed limit. Like, if you need to speed up a little bit, but that's why we have a window.
And then you said, hey, don't give me a fucking lecture, bud.
Most cops look at me and go, no. They see my face. They're like, I'm the cop here. Like they think I'm challenging their job.
Easy cop face.
They're like, cop face.
They think you're a firefighter. Police
they think I'm a fire marshal.
Have beef.
It is.
Well, Big Jason, thank you for doing this, baby doll.
Yeah,
you have an album and a special coming. Do you have a name for the special?
It's called Biscuits and Gravity.
It's a food and science show.
It's always about my my food heritage and my love of science and math.
When does both of them come out?
April 13th.
April 13th, where can people find
April 13th. Go to my website. It's going to be the easiest place. It's on YouTube. It's through this distribution group called 4x3. I'm releasing it with them. But you'll be able to go to my YouTube or my website, and that'll direct you there.
Cool. And do you have a YouTube name, and what's your socials?
YouTube name is Jason Salmon, and my social is J Salmon Comedy. It is spelled like salmon.
No, social security number.
That is also J Salmon Comedy. I got that. I got my social security number changed to J Salmon Comedy.
That's badass.
It is. Yeah, that is the next phase.
That is how firm you are. You're like, no, I want my social security number at.
Yeah. Can I get an at symbol in there, please?
And guys, my friend Ray has been doing a bang up job posting full episodes on the YouTube account. Just search for Brand New Jerks. It'll pop right up. We have a bunch. At this point, we have about 5 or 6 episodes, I think, up there. Full.
I would even say 7.
Holy mackerel.
Dare I say it.
You can email us, brandnewjerks@gmail.com. You can search for us on TikTok, which is?
@BrandNewJerksPod.
And also, Ray is @RayBKilling'em on Instagram.
And Sean is @ShawneeTime. And come on back. We'll see you next Thursday.
See you next week. Bye. Thank you so much.